At 72, Frank still wakes up before sunrise. He slips on his walking shoes, brews a cup of coffee, and watches the sun rise from his front porch. His laugh is loud, his hands are steady, and his days are filled with purpose. Small things, like fixing a neighbor's fence or teaching his grandson how to fish. Frank says he feels no different than he did at 50, just maybe a bit wiser. Across town, another man, George, is the same age, but each morning feels heavy. He wakes up stiff, uncertain of what day it is, and most mornings, he just sits by the window, watching life go by. His world feels smaller, his spark dimmer, not because of illness, but because something inside him has quietly begun to shut down. How is it that two people, both over 70, can live such different lives? What keeps one person full of life while another fades too soon? It is not just genetics. It is not just luck. The answer lies in the simple, powerful things they do each day, often without even thinking about it. Let us explore those 5 quiet habits that keep some seniors feeling young, vibrant, and deeply alive. If this message speaks to you, please like and subscribe. We share heartfelt stories and health wisdom for people just like you. And tell us in the comments, how young do you feel today on the inside? Movement after 70 is not about intense workouts or chasing numbers on a pedometer. It is about choosing life in motion. A simple stretch in the morning, a walk to the corner store, or dancing to an old favorite song in the living room. These moments do more than move your body. They nourish your spirit. Take Mary, for example. She is 73, and every morning she puts on her slippers, turns on her kitchen radio, and sways to a soft tune while she brews tea. She says it helps her feel like herself again. That small routine, just a few minutes long, sets the tone for her whole day. It is not cardio. It is connection to her body, to music, and to the joy of being alive. Movement maintains more than muscles. It keeps joints supple, digestion smooth, blood flowing, and even your brain sharper. More importantly, it gives a sense of independence. The ability to get up on your own, reach for a book, or make your own cup of tea, these are freedoms worth protecting. Yet, many seniors fall into a dangerous pattern. They begin to sit more, rest more, and soon their world shrinks. The body weakens quickly when it is not used. What used to be easy, climbing stairs, tying shoes, even getting out of bed, starts to feel difficult. And when movement becomes hard, people often give up altogether. But you do not need to run marathons to stay young. A few minutes of mindful movement each day can work wonders. Walk around the block after lunch, stretch gently before bed, tend to a garden. Even vacuuming your living room counts. Feeling young is not about age, it is about feeling capable in your own skin. So the next time you think, I am too tired, ask yourself, am I tired from doing too much or from doing too little? Start with one small action, then let that momentum carry you forward. Now, let us explore another habit that helps people stay mentally and emotionally vibrant well into their 70s and beyond. There is something quietly powerful about curiosity. It is the spark that keeps the mind sharp and the soul open. People who feel young after 70 often share one beautiful trait. They are still deeply curious. About the world, about others, about life itself. They are not stuck in the past. They are still learning, still growing. Meet Bernard. He is 76 and recently signed up for an online course on World War II history. He had never taken a virtual class before, but he figured, why not? Now, every Tuesday afternoon, he sits at his desk with a notebook, eyes bright, jotting down insights like a college student. Bernard says those lessons have nothing to do with grades and everything to do with staying alive inside. That is the thing, our brains are hungry for stimulation. When we challenge them, they reward us with clarity, memory, and joy. But when we stop using them, they slow down, just like our muscles do. Boredom sets in, days begin to blur, and the mind, once sharp, starts to fade. Curiosity is more than just learning facts. It is noticing the details of a flower blooming in your yard. It is asking your granddaughter what books she is reading. It is wondering how the radio works or why the birds always sing louder after rain. Staying mentally engaged does not require a college degree. It only requires an open heart and a willingness to explore. People who stay mentally young often read, write, or create. They try new recipes. They play word games or do puzzles. They ask questions, tell stories, or simply wonder about things they never had time to think about before. Staying curious is also a quiet way to fight fear. The more you learn, the less you fear change, and the less you fear, the more free you become. A curious mind is a hopeful mind, one that looks ahead rather than behind. So if you find yourself watching the same television show every day or feeling mentally foggy, try something new. Pick up a book from a section you usually skip. Join a local club, even if it is virtual. Write down 3 questions you want to explore this month. Feeling young begins with feeling interested in life, in others, and in what tomorrow might bring. Coming up next is another habit that may surprise you, one that brings energy, connection, and even health benefits without a single pill or doctor's visit. Point 3. You laugh often and surround yourself with positivity. There is a quiet medicine that often goes overlooked in older age. It has no side effects, no prescription, and no cost. That medicine is laughter. And those who still feel young after 70 often carry it with them like a trusted companion. They find reasons to smile, moments to giggle, and people who bring joy into their lives, even on the hard days. Take Teresa. She is 79 and lives alone, but every Friday evening she hosts a game night with her neighbors. They play cards, tell stories, and laugh until someone nearly spills their tea. It is a simple gathering, nothing fancy, but Teresa says those few hours each week are what keep her heart light and her spirit strong. Laughter is more than just a reaction. It is a release. It lowers stress hormones, eases pain, boosts the immune system, and even improves circulation. When you laugh, your whole body relaxes. Your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens, and for just a moment the world feels lighter. But laughter does something else too. It connects us. Sharing a joke, a memory, or even a funny mistake creates a sense of belonging. And for seniors especially, that sense of connection is gold. It wards off loneliness, depression, and even memory loss. On the flip side, being surrounded by negativity can age you from the inside out. Constant complaining, fear-filled news, or people who drain your energy, these things take a toll. They make the days feel heavier and the future seem darker. People who feel young at heart often choose their company wisely. They seek out joy, not drama. They stay informed, but not overwhelmed. They talk about ideas and memories, not just aches and pains. And when life throws them something hard, which it always does, they try to find the light in it, not to pretend it is easy, but to remind themselves that they are still alive and laughter is still allowed. If you have not laughed in a while, do not worry. Start small. Watch a favorite comedy from your younger years. Call someone who always makes you smile. Look for the silly side of daily life, the lost keys in the freezer, the bird that keeps tapping your window, the time you wore mismatched shoes and did not notice. Joy is not childish, it is wise, because those who laugh often tend to live longer, love deeper, and walk through their days with lighter hearts. Now let us move to number 4. A daily habit that may be less visible, but deeply powerful. The quiet act of caring for others. Point 4. You care for others, even in small ways. There is something deeply life-giving about caring for someone else. It does not need to be grand or dramatic. Often, it is in the smallest gestures, a phone call, a cup of soup, a kind word, that we stay connected to the world and, most importantly, to our sense of purpose. Harold is 81. He lives in a quiet neighborhood where many of his old friends have either moved away or passed on. But every Wednesday, like clockwork, he walks 2 blocks with a thermos of homemade vegetable soup and leaves it on the porch of his neighbor, Carla, who is recovering from hip surgery. Sometimes they talk for a few minutes, sometimes he just waves and walks home. But Harold says those Wednesdays are the highlight of his week. That is what purpose looks like. It is not about having a big mission or being busy all the time. It is about knowing that your presence still matters, that your hands can still give, that your heart still has work to do. Older adults who stay involved in their families, their communities, or even with one close friend, often feel younger and more fulfilled than those who drift into isolation. Because when you care for others, you do not just help them, you strengthen your own spirit. And it does not always mean caregiving in the traditional sense. It can be sending a birthday card, helping a grandchild with homework, knitting a scarf for someone who is sick, or calling someone who lives alone. It is these acts of kindness that keep your emotional muscles strong. But the opposite is also true. When you stop feeling needed, life can begin to feel empty. Days blur together, motivation fades, and slowly, a kind of emotional numbness sets in. That is why staying young at heart often comes from staying engaged, not just for yourself, but for someone else's well-being too. If you are not sure where to start, look close to home. Is there someone you know who could use encouragement? A neighbor who seems withdrawn? A friend you have not called in months? Even a small act, checking in, offering help, or simply listening, can light up someone's day. And in doing so, it lights something within you. Being there for others is not about being strong. It is about being present. And that presence, steady, kind, and full of heart, is one of the clearest signs that you are still very much alive inside. Let us now look at the fifth and most quietly powerful habit of all, one that shapes the way you experience every single day you are given. Point 5. You take time to reflect and feel grateful. In a world that often rushes forward, those who feel young after 70 have learned the value of looking inward. They start their days not with complaints or regrets, but with quiet reflection and deep gratitude. It may sound simple, but this habit holds immense power. The power to shift perspective, to calm the heart, and to anchor you in what truly matters. Eleanor is 75. Every morning, before she makes her breakfast or checks the weather, she sits by her window with a small notebook. In it, she writes 3 things she is grateful for. Some days it is big things: her health, her family, the fact that she still lives in her own home. Other days it is smaller: the way the sunlight dances on her table, the taste of ripe berries, the sound of rain at night. This little ritual, she says, keeps her soul steady. Gratitude is not about pretending life is perfect. It is about noticing what is still good, even in the middle of challenges. When you take time to reflect on what you have, instead of what you have lost, something begins to shift inside. Worry shrinks, peace grows, and that quiet sense of well-being begins to take root. Science backs this up. Studies show that older adults who regularly practice gratitude report lower levels of depression, better sleep, and even stronger immune function. They feel more hopeful, less anxious, and more satisfied with life, regardless of their physical condition. Gratitude also softens the hard parts of aging. It does not erase the aches, the loneliness, or the losses, but it gives those experiences context. It reminds you that even in pain, there is beauty. Even in change, there is something worth holding on to. It is the lens that turns ordinary moments into sacred ones. If reflection and gratitude are not yet part of your daily life, you can begin gently. You do not need a journal or a perfect routine. You just need a few quiet minutes. Think of something, anything, that brought you comfort or joy today. Maybe it was a kind word, a warm meal, a memory that surfaced while folding laundry. Hold it in your heart for a moment. Let it nourish you. You can also try taking a mindful walk, noticing the sounds and colors around you, or say a short prayer, if faith is part of your life. These moments do not need to be long, they just need to be real. Because when you make space for reflection, your days feel more meaningful. And when you live with gratitude, your heart stays open to love, to change, to whatever may come next. Now, as we bring all of these habits together, let us take a moment for one final reflection. A gentle reminder of what it truly means to feel young after 70. Final reflection. There is no magic formula for staying young after 70. No secret pill, no perfect routine. But if you look closely at those who still feel vibrant, hopeful, and alive, you will find a pattern. They move their bodies, they feed their minds, they laugh easily, care deeply, and give thanks often. They are not chasing youth. They are living fully right where they are. And that is the difference. Youth is not measured in years. It is felt in moments of curiosity, of kindness, of connection. It is in the way you greet the morning sun, the way you speak to a stranger, the way you carry your story with grace. It is choosing to keep showing up to life, even as it changes. So wherever you are today, strong or struggling, surrounded or alone, know this: you are not finished. Your days still hold meaning. Your presence still matters. And every time you choose to live with movement, joy, curiosity, compassion, and gratitude, you are choosing to stay young, not just in body, but in spirit. That, more than anything, is what keeps us truly alive. If this video touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. And tell us in the comments, which of these 5 daily habits do you already practice, and which one will you start tomorrow? Your voice matters here. We are so glad you are with us.